Welcome to the Albert and Billy Show here on WUAT AM 1110 and Channel 18 Valley TV and YouTube. Hello, Papa.
I'm raring to go, Billy.
You're always ready.
I've been up since before 6 o'clock this morning, prepping myself just for this.
Dang.
So I ought to be loaded.
You are prepared.
I ought to be loaded.
You should be. Did you watch the Lady Vols lose to Vanderbilt last night?
I don't want to talk about it.
You gonna try to defend her now?
No.
I can't wait to hear it.
No.
Okay. All right, we got some announcements to tell you about. We have a lot of things coming up, actually.
In this little town, how can so much to go? But you know, as much as goes on here, every time you pick up the local paper, Sequatchie County's got more things going on than Bledsoe County.
Mm-hmm. I know.
There'll be more things down there to take your money.
Exactly. Well, we got a St. Patrick's Day dance that's scheduled with the fairgrounds people, the Fair Association. Couldn't think of their name there for a second. But it's the Bledsoe County Fair Association, of course. They're sponsoring this, getting ready for the big 100th annual fair later this year.
100th? Mm-hmm. Do you remember the first one?
I do not.
I don't either.
So this is probably going to help out with that, I'm sure.
When is St. Patrick's Day?
But the St. Patty's Day dance is Saturday, March the 16th. St. Patty's Day is the 17th.
All right.
It'll be from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Bledsoe County Fair Exhibit Hall, and the DJ will be Tom Roberts.
He's good. He's my cousin.
I know it. I know it. So he'll be there. He's entertaining anyway. So
he's Santa Claus. He's always Santa Claus to a lot of people.
Yeah, he's perfect for that. Admission is $5 per person. Concessions are available, and of course, proceeds will benefit the Bledsoe County Fair Association. And the Bledsoe County Rescue Squad radio listeners, they're bringing their breakfast back this Saturday, March 2nd, from 6 to 10 a.m. And they'll have sausage, country ham, fried bologna, bacon, scrambled eggs, hash browns, biscuits and gravy, plus a drink. And you get all that for $6 a plate.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all. All the proceeds go to the Bledsoe County Rescue Squad.
And they need it. You've been seeing how busy they've been here with all this water?
Yeah, that's true.
They've been using their boats and their manpower.
Well, that's true. And on Saturday, March 15th through 17th, Fall Creek Falls State Park is going to be hosting a waterfalls weekend with a series of hikes. There'll be a photography seminar and van tours. Also, that's pretty cool. They include Friday, March 15th at 10 a.m. That'll be a ranger-led hike to Hemlock Falls and meet at the Nature Center. And then Saturday, March 16th at 9 a.m., ranger-led Big Six hike to see all six major falls in the park. That's also at 10 a.m. So this runs all weekend, folks. Some of the hikes do require registration and is a $10 fee. So you can register online. You can give them a call. Go to TennesseeStateParks.com and type in Fall Creek Falls and find out a lot more information on the Waterfalls weekend. That is March 15th through the 17th at Fall Creek Falls State Park.
I don't think I'm going to pay $10 to get to walk.
No.
And it sounds to me like they're going to be walking for about 3 days.
It does sound like a lot of walking, Papa.
All the falls, it's saying?
Yeah, the one with all six. Yeah, that's going to be major hot.
Well, I have a couple of announcements I'd like to make.
Okay.
You were talking about the rescue squad. On Sunday, March the 10th, which will be a week from this Sunday, the local volunteer fire department here in Pikeville is going to have a chili fundraiser, and it's going to be from 11:30 to 1:30.
Okay.
It will be there at their location, which is in South Pikeville.
Mm-hmm.
It's you can eat in or you can take it out, and of course that location is College Street or Municipal Drive, whichever you want to call it. It's a pretty good deal the way they've got it set. I watch cars; they come in to pay their water bills. You know.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I think I'll start charging a fee for people. I'm gonna put up a toll. I'm gonna put up a toll road.
I think you should.
Okay. There's going to be, hey, this is already March. Today's the first day of March. On the 16th day of this month, which will be on a Saturday night, 2 weeks from this coming Saturday night. That'd be 2 weeks from tomorrow night.
Yeah.
We're going to have a wild game supper at First Southern Baptist Church, which will be the 14th annual one that we've held. And we've had some wild ones in the past. I've eaten some things I didn't know what I was eating. And not all of them are good.
Right.
But
some are and some aren't.
Well, Marshall DeBoer taught me into eating some things I wish I hadn't. But anyway, the vendors will be there an hour before. They set up at 5 o'clock, and they're there that you can check their wares out and buy a gun or look at a rod and reel or whatever, you know. And that's from 5 to 6. And then the meal will be served promptly at 6 o'clock. So the tickets are on sale at the church or at Sales Building Supply. You pay $15 for each ticket that you buy, but if you buy 8, you've got 7 friends, anybody got 7 friends?
Right.
It costs you $110, and if you've got 10 friends, it'll be $130. So if you wait too long, though,
I know it'll go up.
The prices will go up. But it is a limited seating arrangement. We can only get so many people in there.
That's true.
Well, the fire marshal just let so many come in, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is being held at the Family Ministry Center of First Southern Baptist Church, and the pastor, the man that's going to be there is from Ohio. His name is Mark Ledford, and he has hunted everything from alligators to monster bucks.
Wow. And done a little fishing too.
Some fishing. It doesn't seem to be putting much emphasis on the fishing.
It doesn't, no.
But if would you want to hunt an alligator? I would want to be running away from one.
Exactly. Yes.
Or a crocodile, either one.
I would hunt one.
Our producer wants to hunt one. Allie wants to hunt one.
Oh, what would you do?
Alligator. She's lost it.
Alligator shoes?
I get, yeah. Alligator boots, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, I guess so. We won't get into all that.
No.
Well, it's trivia time.
I am ready. I
don't know if I am, but I never know.
Well, this hit me this week.
Last week.
This hit me this week. I spend a lot of time preparing for this segment of our program. I'll be working a crossword puzzle, and I'll see something I think will make a good trivia question. So I'll go to my book and I'll jot it down. Or if I've carried something in my pocket, I'll write it down. And I'm so thrilled when I can come up with something I think will puzzle people or get them to thinking. Well, I wonder what that is. Did I ever run into that? Or have I ever read about that?
Yeah.
But I told you this, I think, once before. It bothers me that all people have to do to get the answer is talk to their darn telephone.
That's right.
And it gives you the answer.
That's right.
That negates everything that I do. But really, when you get to thinking about it, Albert, trivia, anything that's trivial, it's non-important.
Right.
Trivial is non-important.
You did say the meaning of it not long ago.
But anyway, here's the questions I got.
Oh, great. Here we go, folks.
Grant's foe in the Civil War, the general of the Southern forces, what was his name?
Lee.
Robert E. Lee.
Okay, there we go.
And if you go to Stone Mountain, Georgia, you will see in the back inside of that big old piece of granite those soldiers on horses, and they're that deep in the mountain that you could ride. It's like a city bus deep in the mountain. That's how much dynamiting they had to do to blow all that out to make room.
Right.
But Lee's, and the president of the Confederacy was Jefferson Davis. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know. In Tijuana, what would 2 be?
What?
In
Dos.
Tijuana, dos. Uno, dos.
Oh,
I was reading it and I couldn't figure out what I'd written down. Then I remembered I took Spanish for 2 years. I should know what dos is. I read my answer and I thought, what is that?
it's in Mexico.
Tijuana.
A city in Mexico.
So there, if you were saying 2, it would be dos.
Why?
Oh, no.
It's trivia. Third one.
So many questions.
Me too.
Wrigley's product.
Whose product?
Wrigley's. Gum.
Oh, Wrigley's is gone.
And do you know?
Oh, is that those used to be commercials where there's the spearmint twins?
Spearmint and double mint and juice fruit.
Double mint, they were the twins, yeah.
Double your pleasure, double your fun, double mint gum. Well, do you know the name of the Chicago Cubs field?
Yeah, Wrigley Field.
Wrigley Field, it's the same one. The Wrigley's.
Yeah.
Okay, number 4. Clementine's dad, what was his vacation? Oh, my darling. Oh, my darling. Oh, my darling Clementine. Now, what was her dad's occupation?
Oh, a miner.
He was a miner.
Mm-hmm.
12 a miner, 49er.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't heard that in a while.
Well, I think I sang that to my kids. That's 100 years ago. A lumberjack's yell. What does he say when he cuts the tree down?
Oh, timber.
Timber. Very good.
Watch out, everybody.
If you're going back to Chicago, if you're in Chicago and you see the trains, what are they called that they're on?
What?
What's a train?
What's a train called in
Subway?
Chicago? No, they're not. They're not below the ground. They're above ground. So what are they called? 3 letters.
Track.
3 letters.
I don't know. A Chicago train.
L's.
Shoot, I never got that. L's?
ELS.
Yeah, I never got that one.
Okay. The ultimatum word. A mother says, you do this or
Else.
else. That's an ultimatum.
Yeah, I've actually heard of
What's
that.
going to happen if you don't do it?
Right, yeah, I've heard of that one.
That wasn't too far off, was it?
That one wasn't too bad. The one before was pretty hard.
The lease signer is now a blank. If you rent a place from a man to live, you signed a lease. Now what are you called?
The owner?
No, you signed the lease from the man that owned the home.
Oh, you're the renter.
You're the renter or you're the
Landlord?
the landlord owns it.
Yeah, that's right. You're the person that lives there. I don't know what you call it.
You call it a tenant.
A tenant, okay.
Tenant.
Okay. Yeah.
But a renter you can also be a rentor.
Yes.
Okay, who is it that says safe?
Oh, umpire. Umpire.
He is the safe. He's the safe caller.
Yes.
You have umpires. You have referees.
Yes. Some are good and some aren't.
There's a different sports use the word referee. Football is one.
Basketball.
Okay, and also in boxing, you have a referee.
Really, baseball is the only ones that call them something different.
You have a third base umpire. Yeah, you're right. Okay, and don't they rotate?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, Barbie's beau.
Ken. Her boyfriend.
Yeah. Her bae.
Listen, I've got an article about her today. She's 60 now.
Oh, okay, so she's been out 60 years.
60 years old.
Today.
Not
She
necessarily.
still looks great.
She looks great, don't she?
Wonder how they do that. How old do I look?
Well, she hasn't aged any, Papa.
I had a birthday last Sunday before that. How old do I look? Don't answer that. Okay, next one. A kind of dust, but you certainly would not throw any of it away. Very valuable dust.
Gold dust.
Gold dust. And whenever people mine for gold, we have the visualization that they're going to get a big old nugget, but sometimes it's just flecks of gold that they get.
Yeah.
Flecks of gold.
Yeah.
And after you get enough, you got around $1,500 or $1,600 for an ounce.
That's true.
The seller of hot tickets at a game is known as a blank.
Vendor.
No. If you're selling hot tickets,
Oh, I know. I do know, but it's just not coming to me. Scalper. Scalper, yeah.
Yeah. You pay a whole lot more.
Yeah.
I wonder how much they got for those tickets at the Super Bowl.
I don't know.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Okay, last question. Big Ben's city.
London.
London. London. Very well. Very well. Very good.
Oh, was that the last one?
That's it.
Well, those were interesting, but I thought, you know,
Where do they
okay on them.
I can't tell you where they come from. All
I couldn't tell you either.
okay.
Some of them were hard, but some of them ain't too bad. So those weren't too bad.
Weren't too bad.
No, they weren't.
Listen, I eliminate.
I like it when they're not really hard.
I eliminate a lot of them when I get to reading them. I thought, well, they ain't no way he'd ever know that.
No.
But I'm not doing this necessarily for you, Billy. I'm wanting to. Hey, I ran into a man at the grocery store a while ago. Never saw him before in my life. He said, I can tell you what you talked about last week.
Oh, wow.
And he did. He proceeded to tell me what we discussed on the radio program last week.
Well,
Yeah.
that's good.
So some people out there,
Yeah, they like it, true.
they can
I get comments about it a lot.
identify with some of it. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. Well, coming up, it will be sports of all sorts.
Oh,
after
yes.
the break. And
Be sure and stay tuned for that.
yeah, Holly's got to go. That's coming up next here on the Albert and Billy Show. Okay, welcome back to the Albert and Billy Show on WUAT AM 1110 and Channel 18 Valley TV. I want to thank our sponsors, Citizens Tri-County Bank right here in downtown Pikeville. Scotty's in downtown Pikeville, home of the Scotty Burgers, and you take them some brownies every now and
Took
then.
them some this morning.
See? You need to try their waffles, are good. Subway on the bypass. You can eat breakfast at Subway now, don't forget, at 7 o'clock.
7
right?
o'clock.
And of course, I want to thank the offices of Emma Boynton, Janice Sapp, Michael Walker. I want to thank all of you guys for supporting us.
Right.
Zach Ollendorf, Bilbrey Insurance. Also, they're on Spring Street.
I took them some brownies, and
And they got some brownies today.
what's the name of the little dog?
Oh, yeah,
Sadie.
Sadie.
I had to give her one too.
I can see that. She's funny. And Dr. Lee, Pikeville Family Dentistry. Dr. Lee, right across the street from us here at WUAT. Farm Bureau. Go see Matt Massengale for all your insurance needs, home, auto, health insurance needs. Go see Matt and his friendly staff down at Farm Bureau. And the Farmhouse Cafe and Gifts, owner Kim Campbell. She's got great food, Papa.
Right here on Cumberland
And
Avenue.
she's right on Cumberland Avenue, right behind us. Also our neighbor. And another neighbor, The Loom. Go see Miss Judy Yates at The Loom, right next door to us here at WUAT on Cumberland Avenue. Longtime sponsor of the show. All right.
I think Cumberland Avenue is a main artery, main arm of the business.
Yeah.
Of that's not as much as it used to be.
Well, no.
But we had watch shop on that street. We had shoe repair shops on that street. We had grocery store after grocery store after grocery store. Had a doctor's office. It's just and farm store and hardware store and funeral home office and a theater.
That's crazy.
All that used to be on Cumberland and 2 taxi services.
You're kidding.
All that was on Cumberland Avenue. All that, listen, all of it was on Cumberland Avenue.
I didn't know we had a taxi service too.
Had 2 of them.
I didn't know we had one of them. That's crazy. I learn something new all the time when we talk about that stuff. Well, it's time for sports of all sorts.
Sports. Let's talk about the men before we talk about the women.
Let's do that.
We got to find a bright spot.
I know.
It's hard to find a bright spot with the men here lately.
I know, but there is a bright spot.
There is a bright spot.
Big win the other night.
Well, it was a close win.
And I knew it would be. I knew that. Actually, I said that it could be a loss. Ole Miss is that good.
Yeah, well, but the loss goes back to the number 13 LSU. We had that game won. It was tied up 80-80.
Stupid.
And
foul.
Grant Williams fouled that guy.
That was so. I don't know.
And
what
he shot
thinking.
the foul shots, and there was the game.
Yeah, he cost him the game.
He cost him the game. I don't know what he wanted to. Why would you want to foul anybody at all?
I don't think he knew what he wanted to do. I don't think he meant to foul him, but he shouldn't have.
Well, that ball was not going to go down the court and shoot in 1.1 second.
No, they shouldn't have even guarded him.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure Rick Barnes was ready to.
I bet he bit 2 nails in 2. I think
I'm sure.
I think his teeth are hurting.
I would have been mad.
But then,
It's a very dumb foul.
then we faced Ole Miss. Our once lustrous record. We were number 1, then we dropped down to number 5, and now we're down to number 7.
I know.
But Ole Miss didn't. They didn't know how good we were. They didn't. They didn't read about how good we were.
Right. They brought it. It was a really good game.
But Williams with 21 and Turner with 17.
He played better than that one.
And we shot 58% in that second half. That's what won the game.
Oh yeah, that is what won it. Ole Miss was ahead.
Well, next up tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Kentucky.
1 o'clock our time.
Oh, it is at 1 o'clock tomorrow.
1 o'clock our time. We got Kentucky coming up. Then we got 2 more games the regular season: Mississippi State and Auburn. Auburn's our last game. Bruce Pearl's team.
I know. Is the Mississippi State game a home game?
I don't know.
Or is it in Starkville?
I believe it is. It's in Starkville.
Gosh, so
We spent
a lot of road games this last stretch.
But now going back to that game with LSU, Schofield scored 27 points.
Yeah, he did good.
But
actually.
he's not as consistent. He shoots his percentage. He doesn't give you 58%. He's more like 33%. So I think he needs to shoot less
I do too.
to score his points.
I do too.
But now let me tell you, Mr. Barnes has never texted me nor called me for my opinion on how to run that game. How to run that show up there.
Right.
But anyway, we'll have to talk about the feminine side now.
No, they're terrible.
They did play Sunday. Who was it? South Carolina?
They showed up. I don't know what they did, but they were there.
South Carolina did
Run them out of the gym.
They did what they wanted to do.
Yeah,
They did what they wanted to do.
Oh, this season is also, she's broke another record. This is also their worst season at home. They're just 10-7 at home.
Well, a lot of history was made just in one game last night.
Yes, it was.
Vanderbilt had
never won Knoxville.
Never, as in N-E-V-E-R, never won a ball game in Knoxville.
And she ruined it.
And last night they got to win. Think how good that made people in Nashville feel, though.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they're part of Tennessee.
Yeah.
So you need to make them feel good, son.
True.
But also, Vanderbilt had only, out of last night was number 14, the 14th game they played in the SEC. They'd only won 1 time.
I know. That's what's so embarrassing about it.
That's embarrassing. They had won 1 game, and we let them
in Knoxville.
And I don't think the game was as close as the score sounded. I think they.
It was bad to watch. Yeah.
But here's another historical figure that jumps out at me. Immediately after the game was over, the people that were announcing the ball game said that fiasco last night by the Tennessee team eliminated them from consideration of the NCAA Madness dance that will be coming this month.
Yeah.
Of course, first you got the SEC tournament, but Tennessee only has one more regular season game to enhance their record. But with a 6-9 worksheet in the SEC, it's not going to impress anybody.
No, Ole Miss is not that good. It may hurt them if they lose. It'll hurt them, but they don't gain anything by winning that game.
And you know, that's the thing about Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt had nothing to lose last night.
That's right.
But did you see how many times they went for a little layup?
Yeah, it was just like deja vu. No defense whatsoever.
No defense. I mean, the lane was open, so why not let me shoot a crap? I don't want to shoot a three-pointer out here.
It just makes you wonder, what in the world does Holly practice on?
And then
they get worse. They don't get better.
In the last few seconds, we started shooting threes. During the game, no threes.
None at all. They went away from
But we
that.
hit 2 out of 3 threes in desperation.
Yeah.
Why did they wait that long to start shooting?
Exactly.
I mean, if you're that far behind.
Just started shooting them way earlier. I don't think she wants them to.
Well,
that's the problem.
This is not going to be one of our better years.
No, it's the worst.
It's the worst year in SEC history for the University of Tennessee women's basketball team.
Oh, it's time to cut the cord and get Holly out.
I don't listen to talk radio.
Well, they're slamming her.
But I'm sure it's the main topic.
It needs to be.
But I get all my information out of the newspaper. That's where I read my accounts and television. I hear some on television. But anyway, I think that Phil Fulmer is a smarter man than we give him credit for, but he's been hesitant to do his job.
Yes, he has.
I believe now he's going to be forced to make the decision, because if he doesn't, there's going to be a clamor for a new person to come up there and take his place.
That's exactly right. Yeah, he doesn't want to be known as a person that let the Lady Vol program just go under, and be destroyed under his watch. So he better do something, because she clearly can't do it. This is 7 years.
I think that they've been patient.
Too patient, yeah.
And they kept waiting for the pendulum to swing back the other way with the talent she's been getting. But there's something amiss somewhere.
It's been obvious for the last few years, though. The problem is her.
I think maybe there might have been some little bitty holes in the bottom boat letting water come in, and now somebody pulled the plug.
I think so too. I don't even think they try.
It bothers me to think that a player with you want to do your best.
Well, they don't. You
should take pride in yourself. You should take pride in your school. And by them exhibiting that lack of, listen, I read one of the players said we were too lackadaisical. That means I'm not really trying my best.
Exactly.
And
at this point in the season, too.
Well, I mean, if you're a college player, your next step is the pros. And you say that we were lackadaisical?
I know. I can't believe they said that. They were. It's true.
Well, here's the reason. If they were, here's the reason. They looked at Vanderbilt's record, and they said, we beat them real bad on their court. We've got this game won.
That's possible.
They've only won one game in the conference. Well, all we got to do is show up.
Yeah, that's all they did.
Yeah. But Vanderbilt showed up big time.
They did.
Okay.
So now they're on another 3-game losing streak. They got all the way up to 6 earlier this season.
Okay, Dustin Johnson won his 20th PGA golf title last Sunday. He won $1,745,000 for winning that tournament. It's not even one of your majors. That's almost $2 million to win a 4-day tournament.
It must be one of those tournaments that's right under the majors, probably.
Well, I think a lot of it has to is in Mexico. Is in Mexico.
Oh,
It has something to do with the people backing it, you know, to make it.
yeah, they do the prize money.
They want good players to come and participate because that's what gets people to come in and pay.
That's true.
Okay, one more last sports article.
Okay.
Baseball.
Even though it's not baseball season.
Well, it's not baseball season yet, but it'll start next month. Spring training is going on right now for your catchers and your pitchers. Bryce Harper signed a contract, it's in the paper today, for 13 years with the Philadelphia Phillies for $330 million. No time in the history of baseball, anywhere, anybody signed a contract like that.
And good?
I started saying, do you even know Bryce Harper?
I don't even know who he is.
He's not Joe DiMaggio. He's not Mickey Mantle.
No.
He's not Hank Aaron. He's Bryce Harper.
And he plays for the Phillies.
Philadelphia Phillies signed him to a contract for 13 years.
They must love him.
You could get your toe cut off in the lawnmower tomorrow. 13-year contract?
Yeah, that's kind of silly.
Silly.
I don't get that.
The Dodgers had a manager one time. His name was Walter. Not one time. His name was Walter Alston. He was the manager for 21 years. He never signed a contract for 2 years. They signed him, they gave him a new contract every year. But he never had the knowledge or the satisfaction of knowing I've got a job for 5 years or I've got a job for 4 years or whatever. He signed a contract, I've got a job for this year. The next year, he got another job for another year. Baseball players don't do that. They feather their nest with big, long-term contracts.
That's weird.
That's weird.
I don't get that.
I don't either. And you're talking big bucks.
Yeah, mega bucks. Millions and millions and millions.
I believe that some of these baseball pitchers that make so much money, I believe that every time they throw that ball, they say, well, there goes another $10,000.
I'd say so. I would say so. They're making too much money.
Too much money. Too much money.
That's just too much.
There's people in the
playing a game, you're not.
There's people in the United States that makes a lot of money. I've been substitute teaching a couple of days this week at the high school. And I remember talking to one or two of the classes, and I got their attention. It's hard to get their attention when they're through with their studies. They want to go to these phones. But I got their attention. I said, I want to tell y'all something. I said, you want to succeed in life. Many of you want to get married, have a family, build a fine home. Your husband wants a truck. You want a car. Y'all maybe are going to buy a boat. And I said, you have the things that goes with it. You're going to have jobs making good money. I said, the only way that you'll ever be on top, the only job I've ever heard where you can start out on top is digging a hole. And you don't want to dig holes the rest of your life. Get you an education now while you're in school. Learn all you can about these computers and all this stuff, because technology is going that way. It's not going where you dig ditches and be a common laborer. No. It won't cut it. You can't build the big fine homes and have the trucks and cars and boats.
No.
You got to have income. And people in the United States are making money.
True.
Making money. You look at the trucks that Ford puts out and Chevrolet puts out and all these. Well, Billy, some of these trucks sell for $45,000, $50,000.
I know.
And people build homes, $350,000 homes. Our house payment was $55 a month.
Yeah, I mean, the prices on really everything is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Everything's too high, really. But anyway, that's it for sports of all sorts.
That's it for sports.
Coming up after the break, we'll have some good old Albertology for you. That's coming up next here on the Albert and Billy Show.
And jokes.
And jokes. Welcome back to the Albert and Billy Show on Channel 18 Valley TV and WUAT AM 1110 and YouTube. It is time for Albertology.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, what are we talking about this week?
These are points of interest, places of interest. For instance, and I'm only bringing about 3 a week.
Okay.
Streets. In New York City, there are 3 or 4 streets I want to bring to your attention. Number 1 is Fifth Avenue.
Yes.
Do you know what? You've heard of Fifth Avenue. When I was a boy, one of my favorite candy bars was Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, it is good.
Now, I'm much, much older, and Fifth Avenue is still on the market. It has not changed its design on the outside of that package.
Wow.
It's still the same as it was the first bar I bought.
That's proof. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I like that, Billy.
Yeah.
I like that. But anyway, Fifth Avenue in New York City, their names of their streets have special meanings. Fifth Avenue means expensive clothing. Store after store after store offers you the best and the most expensive clothes that you can buy. The ones that you buy on Fifth Avenue, that's the only place you can buy that type of clothing, that brand of clothing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Broadway. What's Broadway?
Theater, New York.
Theater.
Yeah.
That's synonymous with New York City is Broadway, the shows, the plays, and
we're
everything.
We're not talking about streets anymore.
Yeah, that's the name of it.
Oh,
Broadway.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing: most of your big time shows are little side streets that lead onto their arteries off of Broadway.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what that street, the special meaning of that street is plays and shows.
Yeah.
Madison Avenue.
That's famous too.
Advertising. Most all of your big time advertisers will be located in New York City on Madison Avenue.
Wow.
It's the street you want to be on if that's whatever you want to advertise. Wall Street.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that's in New York City? What's Wall Street famous for?
Money.
Well, losing it or making it.
Yeah.
It's your people are investing in stocks and bonds at Wall Street in New York City.
Yeah. A lot of people.
I have never been to New York.
I have.
Have you ever been to any of those streets? Madison Avenue, Wall Street, Broadway, Fifth Avenue?
I don't remember which one.
I don't remember Carolyn ever mentioning any of those streets when she went to New York. Evidently there was a road that they were following, and it was not designed to take you downtown New York.
And you don't want to get on the wrong road, let me tell you.
They wanted to see the Statue of Liberty. That was one of their objectives. And she said they finally, after getting information about how to get to it, they finally saw the Statue of Liberty. And so they drove and drove and drove and drove, and here they came across it again. They was trying to get out of there, and they couldn't get out.
It's crazy up there, traffic now.
Okay.
Crazy.
Remember the Alamo. Okay. This victory or death situation was led by Colonel Travis, and he had 150 Texans and volunteers, some from Tennessee. They were attempting to keep Santa Anna and his Mexican hordes from coming on USA soil at a little mission, and the name of the mission building was Alamo. And so they're defending the United States territory from Mexico and their thousands of army men that they were going to use to come in. And they're trying to keep them out. Included in the 150 men is two of the most famous frontiersmen that history ever produced, Kit Carson and David Crockett.
Yeah.
They were two of the men, and Sam Houston was supposed to bring some forces, I think, to support them, but he never did get there in time. So finally, the forces of Santa Anna just simply charged in and killed all 150 men. Well, in all the wars since then, the United States has sent their men into battle. And when they're fighting the foe, many times in a situation where they're going into battle, the men will say, "Remember the Alamo." What they're saying is, remember the sacrifice those men paid. They were willing to let their courage stand up against insurmountable odds. And it overrode them, and they lost. But those men that fight for the United States, when they go into war, they're wanting the people that fight now to remember what happened then.
They need to.
Remember the Alamo. As long as you're fighting for a just cause, that's no reason that you want to die, but some people are willing to die for a just cause. Third one, Custer's Last Stand. You ever heard of Custer?
I've heard of that. Custer's Last Stand.
Custer's Last Stand. Well, General Custer had fought many Indian battles. So he received orders to round up the Sioux Indians and the Cheyenne Indians, and he thought it would be no big deal, you know. So he had 650 men under his deployment, and he figured that would be about enough to take in 1,000 Indians. And it was at a little village near the Little Bighorn River. That's now in Montana. That's where it would be. So he divided his men into 3 groups, and he ordered them to attack. But his group that he was in charge of, they went to the right, and they were planning to get behind the Indians. But instead, the Indians surprised them. They had thousands of Indians instead of just 1,000, and they were angry because the order had been given to round them up where they can get rid of them, you know. So they slaughtered those 650 men, and the only lone survivor they left was 1 horse.
Oh my God.
And today there's a national monument.
Massacre.
It was a massacre. And today there's a national monument of marble that marks the place where Custer and his men fell in that battle with the Indians. You told me today
you were really surprised.
You told me today you want me to talk about my days as a delivery boy for the R.D. Robertson store.
Yes, and I've listened to a lot of the listeners and viewers' questions, and they do like hearing you talk about things that used to be here in Pikeville and Bledsoe County. Well, so you might want to do this every now and then.
Well, that guy this morning told me, said, I can tell you what you talked about last week about the rolling store.
Yes.
And it's been amazing to me. Emma Boynton, I ran into Emma again.
After she called
in. And she told me about getting up, they would get up in the rolling store with their eggs and swap those eggs for the candy. In 1953, I had been out of work for a few weeks, and of course, everybody knew I was out of work that's in the family, and word got to Myrtle Lee and RD that I didn't have a job, and their delivery man got sick and didn't have anybody to deliver that day, and so she called Carolyn's mother, and told her to talk to me and ask me if I would be willing to help her out for a day or two until Ott got better. Well, Ott never did get well, so I was it.
Right.
I was the delivery man. They called me the delivery boy. And there were some things I had to learn. I had to learn where everybody lived.
Yes.
Because I didn't know where everybody lived in Pikeville.
No.
And then I had to learn to go to the back door. Later, much later, that changed. I don't know what changed it. But for some reason, all of a sudden, instead of me going to the back door, knocking on the door and saying, here's your groceries, I was allowed to come in the front door. It must have been something Myrtle worked out with the people. I didn't know anything about it.
Really?
But people would call their order in over the phone. You had to write down every item they ordered. And then it took a long time because people say, I want a loaf of bread and I want 2 cans of cream and I want a jar of, jar of whatever. And you wrote it down on a pad that had a carbon copy. The business was a credit business. Nobody paid cash, hardly at all. People got paid by the week. So you would run your account for a week at a time.
Okay.
Well, Myrtle would write down everything that somebody bought. If their kids ran in and said, Mama said to get a half a gallon of milk and a loaf of bread, she wrote down a half a gallon of milk and a loaf of bread. Everything was written down on a carbon copy, and they got a copy and you kept one. Some people got paid by the month.
Okay.
So you carried them, everything was charged, you carried them for the month. Some people, farmers, had to wait for the crop to come in. They planted a strawberry crop and they had to wait till they sold their strawberries. They had to wait till they developed, matured, and ripened, and picked, harvested.
True.
So they would get paid then. All right.
So they could charge too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're doing all this on credit.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a lot of credit.
Then in town, people lived in town. They got their orders delivered by the store, by the delivery boy, for free.
AKA you.
They would come sometimes and do their own shopping.
Yeah.
But because they had a lot of groceries, they didn't want to carry them in. They'd say, let Albert bring them to me. Kid you not. And then it would happen sometimes.
Well, they should tip you if you do stuff like that, though.
Listen, I turned down a tip one time because I had no one had ever given me a tip.
Oh, okay.
This lady offered me a tip. She was not a local resident.
Yeah.
And I turned it down. She called Myrtle and told her. But anyway.
I can't believe you turned it down. I bet you learned to start accepting those tips.
You think I did?
I hope so.
But some of those women would come in the store and they go in the shop and get their own groceries, but Myrtle had to write them all down. And then they would say, I'm going to go get my hair fixed, Albert. When you take my groceries, put my milk in the refrigerator and put my ice cream in the freezer and put my meat in the refrigerator. I kid you not.
That's too much right there, isn't it?
You had big metal trays that you carried the groceries in. And some of the orders would be so large you'd take 2 or 3 metal trays to hold all that they ordered.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Dogs, and more dogs. I was completely unprotected. I'm walking from the Jeep to their back door.
Yeah.
And I've got both hands tied up holding those groceries. Here comes a dog out from under the house. And they bite you.
That's not good at all. Now listen, this is not a job description.
I was bitten twice that I remember. that was not anything that I liked, I'll tell you what.
I bet.
In 1982, we sold the store to the Goodlet organization. They had 7 other stores in their organization, and this made number 8. Well, they readily assessed the situation here in Pikeville. They did 3 things. Number 1, they stopped the credit. Overnight, you had to pay cash when you walked in that store. Overnight. I mean, credit was gone. There were
Just like that.
no exceptions.
Wow.
Number two, the delivery that was free, you had to pay to get it delivered. They would deliver, but you had to pay a delivery fee.
Right.
I believe it was 75 cents.
Well, that's not much.
That's not bad.
No.
Number three, they finally figured out, they didn't finally, they probably had figured out to begin with, here we're paying a man to deliver these groceries. We're furnishing a vehicle to deliver the groceries in. We have to buy gas for the vehicle. We have to pay insurance on the vehicle. One morning, the truck was gone. Gone. They said no more delivery.
Wow.
That eliminated a man, that eliminated a vehicle, that eliminated gas expense and insurance. They saved a bunch of money. They saw where the drain of profits were going in R.D. Robertson's grocery operation.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
And they stopped it all, buddy.
Well, they probably gave out too much credit. Sometimes that happens.
Well, Carol and I tried to get Merle and R.D. to change, but they never would. There's two other things I wanted to tell about. On two different occasions, I went to people's homes. This is when I went to the back door. No, once was the back door and once was the front door.
Okay.
It was late when I got there, dark 30. I go to the door and I knock. They don't have the outdoor light on. They had forgotten they had ordered the groceries. They'd forgotten they hadn't brought them yet. The lady comes into the kitchen. The light's on in the kitchen. I can see. They can't see me. But in both instances, once at the front door and once at the back door, the woman, when she walked into the kitchen, she looks at the back door. I don't know who that is. She reaches and gets a butcher knife out of the drawer. I kid you not. I can call you their names. They're both dead now. They got a butcher knife out of the drawer, stuck it under their apron, and then walked slowly to the door. Opened the door, and there's Albert. I didn't get cut.
Well, that's good. That's good. Good thing you didn't sneak up on them.
I talked about Barbie a while ago.
Who?
Barbie.
Oh, yeah, Barbie.
I'm through with my delivering.
Okay.
Barbie is, in 2014, Barbie was $1 billion business. Since then, she slipped. But last year, she got back into the $1 billion echelon. She's now, but it was due to new shapes and new careers. So she could offer, Mattel offered more different kinds of Barbies.
Okay.
Nearly a quarter of all the revenue that Mattel brings in is from Barbie.
Wow.
And I told you she's 60 years old now. Okay. Analysts say this year Barbie's going to have a lot more competition because there's going to be a sequel to Frozen. And that's really been a popular movie.
It was.
Very popular. But Mattel, in realizing that they got more competition, they're going to make more diverse Barbie dolls available. They're going to go this year with wheelchairs, freckles, and
they're going all out.
Artificial legs.
You're kidding. Wow.
Because people will buy that doll. And you remember the name of the doll.
Roberts.
Barbara Millicent Roberts. People won't believe me. Now, Allie doesn't believe me. I can tell. We just had the Oscars. I
saw that face.
Bob Hope was the MC. They didn't even have an MC, if you remember.
Say what now?
Oscars.
They didn't have a host.
Did not have a host.
Because the viewing's so low that they cut so much funding that they didn't have a host.
They did not have a host.
They wasn't going to pay anybody.
But Bob Hope was the host for 19 years.
Well, how did they
Bob Hope
do it then this year?
Well, it was the people that were the presenters.
Which they have anyway.
outro.
They just normally have someone who keeps the show going.
Well, someone,
and then
right.
intro and then an outro.
Follows a theme.
Yeah.
Okay, Meryl Streep. You know Meryl Streep? She's been nominated 21 times.
That's a lot.
But she's only won 3. Walt Disney has been nominated 59 times. Streep won more. She's been nominated more than any actor or actress in history. But Walt Disney was not for acting. And he has won 22 Oscars.
Yeah. I guess his was for directing.
Yeah.
Producing.
All right. Stories? Jokes?
Yes.
You tell me when.
I might get him broke from saying stories one day, folks. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so, though. Still saying it, ain't you?
This man came home and told his wife that he had been promoted to vice president. And he was so proud of himself that his wife got annoyed at him. And she finally said, look, being a vice president isn't that special. They even have a vice president of peas at the supermarket. The man didn't believe her. He picks up the phone and calls the supermarket and he says, I want the vice president of peas.
Of peas.
Here's what the clerk said. Do you want fresh, canned, or frozen?
That's what he gets.
I like that. So his wife was right.
She was right.
The best way to cheer yourself up is to try to cheer somebody else up. That's Mark Twain. And the more you talk, the less people listen. That's Albert Roberts, I'm telling you.
That's true.
Somebody says I talk all the time. This fella's name was Gus, and he took 4 tires to a friend's house that was having a garage sale.
Okay.
And he said, I want $35 for each one of my tires. You mind if I join you here and try to sell my tires? And he said, well, no. Put them up, bring them in. So they'd been sitting there for a while, and he hadn't sold his tires. And he said, I'm going to go run downtown. Said, you try to sell my tires for me. and so his friend said, well, now, is this the bottom dollar? How low would you go? He said, well, I want $35 a piece out of those 4 tires, but I would go to 20 if I had to.
Right.
So when he gets back from downtown, his friend says, I sold the tires. He said, you did? Well, good. How much did you get out of them? $20. He said, well, who bought them? He said, I did. Took care of himself, didn't he?
He sure did. Let's teach him to leave like that again.
I've done this. I just burned 2,000 calories.
Oh.
That's the last time I'll leave my brownies in the oven too long.
Oh.
I have ruined a brownie. I get busy
and
forget about them.
Yeah.
I don't mind vacuuming, but if the cord doesn't reach an area of the room, I'm not making a special trip over there.
That's right.
These are all from Reader's Digest.
Laugh lines.
I needed a password 8 characters long, so I picked out Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. I've got a picture. I've got a picture that I drew of the 7 Dwarfs. They're up in the. It's at the local post office. They've got a cork board right behind where you buy your stamps. I go up there and I take them a new picture every once in a while. And right now my picture is up there at the local post office of the 7 Dwarfs.
Oh, cool.
You don't believe me? I don't.
Did I say anything? I said good.
Okay.
And just for the record, I do believe you.
I'm not going to take Betty Boop up there. I think it's wrong that only one company makes the game of Monopoly. I was playing chess with my friend, and he said, let's make this interesting. So we quit playing.
What?
Now this is true. We're talking about, this is the reason I brought up Trivial Pursuit a while ago. I'm great at Trivial Pursuit. We used to play that game. Whenever
Yes.
we'd get together as adults, our kids would be playing out in the yard.
It's fun.
We played Trivial Pursuit and Probe. We played Probed, and we played Rook. We played okay. But this man says, "I'm great at Trivial Pursuit, but what good is this going to do you in life? It has the word trivial in it."
Oh, that's why you said that earlier.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense. Clever.
I asked a patient to write the Medicaid number from his card on his form. So this is what he wrote. The Medicaid number.
Oh my gosh. And I bet those are real, ain't they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
You tell me when you want me to sell some of mine now.
What a dummy.
This happened in a laundromat. Her name was Sue Connor. She saw a sign on the corkboard. It said, "Please keep clothes on while doing laundry."
Shoot. All right, let's do some of yours.
Okay. Okay. I've got some.
I figured you did.
All right. These are definitions, modern definitions.
Modern definitions.
Modern definitions.
Folks. Here we go.
Laziness. How would you describe laziness?
You don't want to work. Don't do anything.
You don't want to get off the couch. What do you call somebody who wants to lay around all the time?
Oh, couch potato.
Couch potato. Laziness is where you risk dropping everything you carry rather than walking twice.
Yeah.
A synonym.
I think we've all done that before.
A synonym is a word that you use in place of the one you can't spell.
That's right, too. Very true.
A group project. Time when you relax and watch someone else who cares do all the work.
There you go.
Poor. Now I'm poor.
Adjective, okay.
When you have too much month at the end of money. Okay, study. The act of texting, eating, and watching TV with an open textbook
That's the
nearby.
truth. That's the truth.
And a friend is one of the many strangers on Facebook.
That's true, too.
All right.
Half the people that send requests, I don't even know who they are.
5 more minutes. Okay. Well, I'm sure that's right, but I don't know how to spell Facebook.
It's Facebook. It's Facebook.
These are funny fortunes out of the fortune cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever read them?
They're always stupid. They never make any sense.
All right, listen to this one. This is help! I'm being held prisoner in a Chinese laundry.
That's what it said on a fortune cookie?
Yeah.
What?
You will read this and say, "Geez, I could come up with better fortunes than that." Your friends secretly agree that your head is the wrong size for your body.
Those are terrible fortunes, by the way.
You're about to become $8.95 poor, or $6.95 if you did the buffet.
That's good.
No snowflake in an avalanche feels responsible. The early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. You will be hungry again in 1 hour.
Yeah, that's a good fortune for a Chinese restaurant. Yes, that's true.
To avoid criticism, do nothing, say nothing, be nothing. Ignore previous cookie. If you think we're going to sum up your whole life on this little piece of paper, you're crazy.
I can't believe they really said these.
This man is like a parachute. If he is not there the first time you need him, then you will not need him again.
That's right. Yeah, if the parachute don't work first time, that's it.
People will accept your ideas more easily if you tell them Benjamin Franklin said it first.
There you go. And that's true too.
You will marry a professional athlete if competitive eating can be called a sport?
That was a fortune.
Stop procrastinating starting tomorrow. Blessed are the children, for they shall inherit the national debt.
Oh.
Last one.
Those are cold-hearted fortunes.
About time I got out of that cookie.
No, those were good. I've never got a fortune cookie like that, ever. Mine are always stupid and don't make no sense. Well, those were good, Papa.
They were good, they were good.
And thanks for joining us today on WAT AM 1110 and Channel 18 Valley TV and YouTube. Join us next week for another edition of the Albert and Billy Show. So long, folks.
See you folks.